Thank you, Per. All right. We're going to start today with some yin, because we always need the little feminine vibe to begin. And we're going to start with the most basic Sphinx. You might notice that I do this posture often. And it's also one that maybe you do outside of the yoga class. I mean, maybe not. Just take a couple of breaths after you've found the right shape for your body. And let your body soften and relax. I'm going to read an invocation you've probably heard from this book, The Seventh Shrine. It's on the recommended reading list. It's by Orland Bishop, and it's about the middle passage, and that's a reference from all of the human beings that were robbed from Africa and sent out into the world to give up their will and work for other people. And it's this amazing autobiographical book that tells of a way deeper story than just one person's biography. But we're just going to start with the invocation. Infinite stars, infinite space, source of the knowledge of the worlds, giver of thoughts that empower creation, transforming light into the elements of matter. Radiate before my mind the 7 keys that unlock the doors of the mystery temple, that I may enter and fulfill the purpose for which my birth initiates. At the beginning of our day, I think it's always so useful to put ourselves in this really big context. Waking up to this idea of being a universal being. That your very existence is actually critical to the whole universe. Maybe a little similar to Buddha's 5 remembrances, a little similar. By remembering this bigger context, it helps us live more into our kind of higher nature than getting stuck in just the realm of desires and pettiness. So if you break a nail as a cosmic being, not that big of a deal. There's a whole cosmos out there. But then on a little bit more of a serious note, if your feelings get a little bruised or if things aren't going the way you want to, it's always helpful to take that step back a little bit and say, does this really affect how I can be in the world? How I can share in the world? Just drop your chin down to your chest, keeping in Sphinx pose, and just let the back of your neck stretch for a couple of breaths here. As you'll notice in our practice, some of the yin postures, but definitely the sun salutations, they're like a dramatic way of bowing and bending in reverence. If you want, you can let your hand just hang there or just take a couple of slow neck rolls. Or maybe just think for a couple moments, where do you find reverence in your life? So reverence is, it refers to revering something, which means to hold above, or that you recognize something as holy or kind of magical or full of life, where, you can have reverence for the canopy of the forest, or you can have reverence for a sunset, or you can find that feeling in a church or a temple, or one of the most holy places you can find that is looking at the face of a newborn baby. And then let your upper body relax all the way down to the ground, moaning and groaning, making funny, awesome faces. Feelings, they move, they shake. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders and just push your hips back to your heels for child's pose. And we're going to slide up into Anahata Asana. So again, it's another posture of reverence, though it feels a little awkward. So you bring your hips right over your knees. So your heavenly booty is already sticking up towards the stars. And you let your hands slide forward. So you're doing child's pose with your upper body and like tabletop with your legs, so to say. You want to feel that your chest keeps dropping down towards the earth, and you can adjust either resting on your forehead or kind of your nose, or if that's really annoying, I sometimes fold my arms and just put my forehead on my stacked arms here. This posture is actually called heart pose, not heavenly booty pose. I know. But I love it because there is something that when you are in action or in loving gesture, like you kind of forget about yourself. Lao Tzu says, if someone loves you a lot, it makes you stronger. But if you love someone a lot, it makes you more courageous. But when you're really in that loving act, whether it's of service, of generosity, of even deep listening, it reconnects you to this cosmic thread in your being. This idea that we are much bigger than just the day-to-day trials and tribulations. So notice how your thinking has been this morning. Has it been expanded or kind of focused or neurotically concentrated? Now start to slide your hands back, bring them underneath your shoulders, and we're going to add a twist to this. So coming into tabletop, you're going to take your left arm and thread it behind your right elbow and come down into your shoulder if it doesn't hurt your shoulder. Put your ear on the ground like you're listening for a train. And then maybe reach back with your right arm and wrap it behind your ribs. And take a couple breaths and notice how your heart is this morning. especially first thing in the morning. My friend talks about how are the first moments in the morning are like the moments of truth where you're not awake enough yet to lie to yourself. Or you wake up with a clear feeling or thought that maybe begs your courage or patience or generosity. Take a couple of breaths and notice the energy in your body. And then with your next inhale, allow your right arm to unwrap, put your hand down, use it to lift yourself up, wiggle your left fingers, make sure they all still work. And then, or the right ones, whichever one you didn't do the other side. So slide, for most of you, your left arm nowhere, your right arm underneath the left arm. And then wrap your left arm back behind you. And you might even notice like one side feels better than the other side. If it's too much for your left arm to wrap your shoulder, don't. Maybe slide your right knee in a little bit, Robin, so your knees are right underneath your hips, if that's possible. Hmm? Does that feel okay? Take a couple of breaths and notice your body. Our body, in a way, is our most temporal being, the part of us that really is in this time. This body you have now is completely different than it was 7 years ago. I mean, for some of us, you might have been like, 12, so that's obvious. But for others of us, 7 years, like, But but what's crazy is that the 7 years is a very, very generous amount of time. It's actually, for a lot of our body, it's much shorter time phase that our cells regenerate. So you have a completely different liver than you did 6 months ago. Or even 6 weeks ago. And the eyeballs you have right now are new eyes compared to the eyes you had 2 days ago. That our body is constantly regenerating and exchanging molecules with our environment. We are not static and stuck. Our body is even made up of more empty space than anything, like the rest of the universe. Maybe you've seen those videos where it zooms out further and further out into the outermost galaxies. And then the video zooms the other way, where it zooms into your cells, smaller and smaller. And both these extremes, whether you're going to outer space or deep inner space, is this place of nothing and magic. Place of source or divine. And that between these two holy spaces, it's a continuous play of chaos or entropy and order. Growth, death, and rebirth. Unwind your left arm. Push your left hand down, find the space, lift up, and come into tabletop. And with your inhale, scoop your chest up, let your head drop back, come into cow. And with your exhale, push the ground away, pull your belly up. 2 more. Inhale, lift up. Feel the whole front of your body stretching. Exhale, feel your whole back body stretching. Maybe even float your knees. Inhale. Maybe your shoulders come closer to your hips. Oh, yay. And then exhale. Maybe float your knees for a little bit more warming in your belly. And then come to a neutral spine and just wiggle your your table around. So get like sassy. Make all the soft parts jiggle. Yeah, baby. And then sit back onto your toes, tucking your toes under if that's there for you. You might have to help your little pinky toe. And you might not be able to sit here peacefully for the time that we're here. And if it becomes too much, like you forget your name or you feel like you're being electrocuted, come out of the pose. Bring your hands to heart center. Being willing to be uncomfortable, even awkward, for extreme holiness. Get tall through the crown of your head. And just take a moment and picture someone who needs some love, some attention, some warmth. And just find that gesture of dedication. Dedicate your class to someone else. You won't lose anything. And let's sound 3 ohms. Empty your breath first. Take a deep inhale. And if Noemi's ready, we're all ready. Bring your hands forward and slap your feet out. And then roll back and stretch the front of your ankles. And then roll into downward facing dog. Tuck your toes under. Maybe move your weight between your hands and your feet. And then just check. Drop your knees and come into child's pose and see if you can come back to child's pose without moving your hands or feet. So you might have to readjust. Feel where your feet are in child's pose. Stretch your arms forward. This is where your hands and feet should be in downward facing dog. Inhale, come up to your hands and knees. Your knees underneath your hips, and then tuck your toes and lift up with a nice anterior tilt Heavenly booty, baby. So you want to feel maybe a little bend in your knees to find the power in your legs, and just start to lightly hop your feet up and down. Just little, micro, mini. See how quietly you can land by bending your knees. It's nice that we have the whole house so early in the morning, but if there were people underneath us, we want to be respectful. Beautiful. And then empty your breath, bend your knees, look forward at your hands, and lightly hop your feet in between your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release and bow down. Let's do that a couple times. Inhale, halfway lift. Attach your hands to your shins or the ground. Exhale, release and bow down. Now inhale, halfway lift. Notice it makes a difference where you look. Feel it maybe in your abdominals. And exhale, release and bow down. Then push down with your feet. Roll all the way up to the sky. Stretch your fingers up high. And with your exhale, Samastitihi. Inhale, stretch your arms up. Look up. Exhale, soften your knees, bow down. Yawn as much as you need to. Inhale, halfway lift. And then exhale, release and bow down. Push down with your feet and roll all the way up to the sky. Reach up, even your fingernails lift up. And exhale, Samastitihi, allowing your hands to drop at the end of your exhale. Inhale, it's kind of a secret, you're with me, Elle. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Now this time we're going to step back to plank. So your upper body stays long and extended here, and just take your legs back. And let's breathe here. So imagine enlivening your whole body. Feel your fingers spread out. Feel your chest expanding, reaching forward, reaching back with your heels. Yes, Anastasia, you're looking great. Maybe a hint of a smile. Take another full inhale. Bring your chin away from your chest. And then keep your gaze reaching forward as you go through Chaturanga all the way to the ground. Elbows squeeze in. Now flip your toes over, push your toenails into the ground. Those are your roots. And then inhale, lift up your chest. And then exhale, release and come back down. Now slide your hands outside of the edge of your yoga mat, tent your fingers, and inhale, lift up. I don't know what this is. Wide baby cobra. Exhale, release and bow down. One more time. Inhale, lift up. And then exhale, come down. Bring your hands back in. Bend your knees. Tuck your toes and lift up into downward facing dog. Allow yourself to breathe through your nose, keeping the energy in your body. Find an empowering little micro bend in your knees. And if you can see your heels behind you, just turn your heels so they're hiding behind your ankles. Take another full inhale. Empty your breath all the way. Look forward and quietly hop your feet in between your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Drag your chest forward. Exhale, release and bow down. Push down with your feet. Roll all the way up to the sky. Stretch up tall. Exhale, Samastitihi. Inhale, stretch your arms up. Exhale, bow down. Inhale, halfway lift. Walk or float. Exhale, sweet chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bend your knees a little bit. Spin your heels back out. And if you really want a little extra with your feet, see if you can lift up your toes and just fan out your toes. And then if you relax your toes back down, see if you can lift up the middle three toes. And if that's too easy for you, you can always try to lift up your pinky toe and your big toe and leave the middle three down. Yeah. Take another full inhale. Notice if you're doing weird things with your hands and your face, trying to move your toes. Empty your breath all the way. Look forward and lightly hop your feet in between your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Drag your chest forward, your chin away from your chest. Exhale, release and bow down. Bend your knees, drop your hips. Inhale, Utkatasana. So again, let's breathe here. It's a little warming exercise. So one of the things that we're trying to do in our practice is we want to become strong and flexible, which translates to having strength and space at the same time. So maybe to lengthen the back of your neck. Yes. And your eyes start sparkling. It's so cool. Find the weight in your heels. And like let your thighs burn. Like I want to see little flames coming off your thighs. Gorgeous. Reach through your fingertips. You got spirit fingers, baby. Oh, go a little lower. Take another full inhale. Now with your exhale, you're going to lift up your heels and you're going to let your hips drop all the way down, because then we're going to go all the way up to your tippy toes. Exhale, Samastitihi. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, bow down. Inhale, halfway lift. Walk or float. Exhale, from plank to the ground or chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your right leg up to the sky. And with your exhale, just start to make some circles with your knee. So you're going to bend your knee, make circles, feel your hip socket being massaged. Gorgeous. And then stretch your legs straight back. Pull your toes to your shin. And with your leg is straight, fully extended, pulling your toes to your shin, you're going to see if you can sweep your leg out to the right, up over your neighbor's hip. So imagine my hip was like right here. Oh, yeah, I've got really long legs. Very nice. So you need a nice burning sensation on the outside of your thigh now. Gorgeous. Now stretch your right leg back. And with your exhale, step your right foot all the way forward to your right thumb. Let your left knee come down. And then inhale up, supported crescent lunge. We're going to take a couple breaths here. So maybe you wiggle your back knee a little back and drop your hips down. Maybe you can take your gaze a little higher. Maybe your arms can be a little bit more extended. Imagine you're trying to grow your nails. Again, it sounds petty, but energetically it so helps your body. Take another full inhale, maybe a little bit more lift in your chest. And exhale, chaturanga or the ground. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your left leg up to the sky. And then bend your knee and start to make some circles with your left knee. Like you're painting on the side wall here. And there's no wrong way to do circles with your knee. It might feel awkward. Just try it out. And then stretch your left leg straight back, fully extend, stretch the back of your knee. Flex your foot so you're pulling your toes to your shin. Roll the pinky side of your toes down to the ground to square your hips. There you go, Noemi. Feel that? It's a lot tougher, isn't it? Now, sweep your left leg out to the left as if you're going to stick your toes in your ear, but you can't bend your knee. You're going up over your neighbor's hip. And pear's really in front of you and quite tall, Robin, so good luck. Yeah. Aye. And then inhale, stretch your leg back, and with your exhale, step your foot forward, bring your right knee down into the ground, slide your right knee a little bit back, and then raise your arms up. So you want to feel that your inner thighs are actually squeezing together, even though you're moving them lengthwise apart. If you want to get more technical, imagine lifting up your perineum. Everyone gets a very philosophical look on their face. My perineum. And then see if you can smile and keep your perineum lifted. So find a little movement in it. Notice if you can get more energized between your thighs. Squeeze your inner thighs together. Yes! Now that lights up everything here for 5. Look up. 4, 3, 2. I love chaturanga. Find your way there. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Feel your fingers spreading out and a micro bend in your elbows. And exhale, downward facing dog. So if you tend to hyperextend your joints, it's really challenging to start to develop the strength to just have a little bend in your elbows. But it will help the pathway it will help the circulation in your body of energy and blood and strength, actually. Empty your breath all the way. Take a full inhale. Oh, I said that backwards. And then empty your breath all the way. Hop your feet in between your hands. Now take another full inhale. Exhale, release and bow down. Bend your knees, drop your butt, inhale. Utkatasana. With your exhale, open arm twist to your right. Inhale up to center with your exhale, open arm twist to your left. Inhale up to center with your exhale, bow down. Inhale, halfway lift. Walk or float, exhale, sweet chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your right leg up to the sky. With your exhale, bend your right knee and tap your left elbow. Inhale, stretch your right leg long, and again, tap your opposite elbow, cross your body. Inhale, stretch your leg long. Exhale, step your foot forward. Left knee stays lifted. Rise up, crescent lunge. With your exhale, open arm twist to your right. Inhale up, crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, sweet chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your left leg up to the sky, and with your exhale, bend your knee, nothing, and take it to your right elbow. Inhale, stretch your left leg long. Exhale, again. Inhale, stretch your leg long. This time, step it all the way forward to your left thumb. Rise up, crescent lunge. Back leg is strong. Open arm twist to your left. Inhale up to center, crescent lunge. Open up, warrior two. Inhale, reverse your warrior. And exhale, sweet chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra, but let your heart get in front of you. Exhale, downward facing dog. Soften your knees a little bit. Feel your hips stretch up and back. You can imagine you have a little bit of a curve in your lower back. This natural curve in your spine. Allow yourself to breathe a lot. If you need extra breaths and what I'm cueing, take them. Fuel up with your inhale. Bend your knees, let your heels float up. Empty your breath all the way. Look forward and hop your feet in between your hands quietly. Inhale, halfway lift. Drag your chest forward. Exhale, release and bow down. Bend your knees, drop your hips. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center and twist to your right. We're going to do the other side too. And then drop your left elbow to the outside of your right knee. Push down on your bottom hand to let your heart lift up. And pull your left knee back and let your hips drop and your chest lift. Then inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center, and we're going to do the other side. So one of the things in twists, we want to remember to keep staying long in our spine. So pull your right knee back to square your hips, and then bend your knees more to drop your butt and lift your heart by pushing down onto your bottom hand. Bring a little bit more relationship between your chin and your chest, Izzy. That was a very big one. And then inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, bow down. Inhale, halfway lift. Walk, fly, or float. Exhale, sweet chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your right leg up to the sky. With your exhale, tap your left elbow. Inhale, stretch your right leg long. Exhale, right knee, right elbow. Enjoy a push-up. We're trying to get hot. Inhale, stretch your right leg long. Exhale, step your foot forward. Rise up, crescent lunge. With your exhale, bring your hands to heart center and twist to your right. Again, the same activity. Push down in your bottom hand. Then imagine you're pulling your shoulders up and back and down. So they're behind you. Like if your shoulders could pray, they'd be praying behind you. Get strong with your back leg. Try to take out the bend in your left knee, pushing your heel back. Yes. And then inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, open up, warrior two. Inhale, reverse your warrior. And then with your exhale, side angle variation or side angle with your right hand behind your right foot. And then stretch your left arm over your ear, reaching your fingertips to the front of the room. See if you can drop your left hip down a little bit. Oh yeah, it got juicier. Very nice. So we want to find peace even in the moments of like challenge. Now with your exhale, you're going to bring your left hand down, let your left heel lift up, and wave your right arm up into the sky for lizard twist. That should feel good. Bring your shoulders back into it. Take another full inhale, and then exhale, chaturanga or the ground. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your left leg up to the sky. With your exhale, take it across your body and tap your right elbow. Inhale, stretch your leg long. Exhale, take left knee, left elbow, enjoy a push-up. Inhale, stretch your legs long. And with your exhale, step your left foot all the way forward to your left thumb. Rise up, crescent lunge. Bring your hands to heart center and twist to your left. Allow yourself to breathe. So you want to feel that your right leg, the right thigh, is trying to hug your right hamstring. So your thigh's the front, the hamstring's the back. Your inner thighs are organically squeezing together, and you're engaging your perineum. Feel your shoulders praying behind you. They've got your back. Then inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, expand to warrior two. Inhale, reverse your warrior. And then with your exhale, come into side angle, either variation or full posture. You want to stretch your right arm so your palm is facing the ground, your arm is stretching over your ear, and you can imagine a straight line from your middle finger on your right hand all the way down the outside line of your right leg. Take another full inhale here. And with your exhale, bring your right hand down, let your right heel lift, and then wave your left arm up. Feel your shoulders, pull them back, lean into it. It should feel beautiful here. And then exhale, sweet chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful, beautiful. My mouth got warm. Are you feeling a little heat in your body, a little glowing happening maybe? Take a full inhale, empty your breath all the way, and then hop your feet in between your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release, and bow down. Now separate your feet about hip distance apart, and as a transition, squat down. And we're going to come into crow pose. So maybe we're going to come into crow pose. For some of us, that might not work because of our shoulder injury. But you're going to put your hands on the ground. Now, if you've never lifted up into crow pose, take your hands a little bit wider. And then bring your knees as high up into your armpits as you can. See, there's like nearly the right space for them. It's like designed for this. And then spread your fingers out and start to bring your weight towards your fingertips. Maybe lift up one foot today. Maybe lift up both feet today. Allow yourself to breathe. Your gaze is reaching forward. Your big toes are reaching together and lifting up towards your, yes, perineum. Are you breathing? Now see if you can find chaturanga. Yeah. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now, I don't know, but the crows I know, they can fly. So we're going to try something here and be willing to fall on your butt a little bit. So with your knees bent, take a full inhale, empty your breath all the way, and see if you can hop into crow. Yeah, nice pair, cool. Yeah, so the first time you do it, it's like, whoa, and you can't hold it. There's no way. But you try. Beautiful. Very cool. Bring your big toes to touch. I mean, just the two biggest you have, they're not so big. And then everybody meet up in goddess pose. So here we are. Now let your chest lift up, shoulders come back behind you. Should feel pretty chill. I could hang out here. A lot of people in the Western developed world have lower back pain is because they don't squat. This is a great position if you have to fix something. If you're weeding, it's not so good for shoveling. But a tiny shovel, slow food. All right. So we're going to stand up, turn your toes in, and jump up and squat down. And jump up and squat down, jump up and squat down, and jump up and squat down. Oh my gosh, I'm moving forward. Jump up and squat down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come into goddess. You should feel a little warmer here now, maybe. And most of you are at the top of your mat. You're going to lift up your hips. And you're going to float your hands. And then you're going to try to keep your knees and your hips about the same height. Walk to your back of the mat. No, actually walk forward to the front of your mat. Keep your hips low. And then walk to the middle of your mat. Beautiful. And then squat down and yes, jump up. And come to a stand-in pose. Okay, maybe wiggle it out. Breathe into it. Shake it a little. Step your feet together. Whew. Warm before a back bend. Pick up your right foot. Now, you're going to squeeze your knee in next to the other knee. And stand upright and really feel this stretch in the front of your right thigh. Is everyone feeling that? I even like to turn my hand and push my heel towards my buttocks, like that. So we're really going for the thigh stretch before we go into bow. I shouldn't jump when I do this. And then release your right foot. Feel the weight in both of your legs. Now, notice how tall you are, where your weight is. That should stay the same. So I don't get shorter when I lift up one of my legs. So, lift up your left heel, pull it towards your buttocks. Bring your knees back together. You're trying to get a stretch in the belly of your thigh. Stay upright. Imagine you're lifting the ceiling with the crown of your head. And you can even soften your tongue towards the roof of your mouth to get better posture. That's also a nice variation to grab it with both hands. I quite like that. Great. And then release your left leg down. Notice if you got taller or shorter. And let's do the right side with bow. So stretch your left arm up to the sky. Now you can imagine this whole left side, your left arm stretching is reminding you to stay nice and long and extended here. Then bring your right elbow into your waist, palm facing up. Sweep your hand back and pick up the inside of your foot. Squeeze your knees back together. Grabbing onto the inside of your foot if you can, pair. Now lift your gaze so you have that nice L shape between your chest and your chin. And make sure you're not giving yourself a shoulder lock, Paulina. So take your hand and open it up again and take it more to the inside if you can. Awesome. Now stretch up tall. Notice if you got the uber serious organizer look on your face. Just uber serious look. Tita. Now you twisted your arm. You tried to go the short way. Yes. Kick up. Keep reaching forward. Breathe into it. You're a dancer. You're gorgeous. You're a cosmic being. How awesome is that? It's a BFD, as we like to say. And then inhale, lift up. And windmill your other arm up to the sky. Bring your left elbow into your waist. Palm facing up. So the way to make sure you don't have a shoulder lock is you really overextend. So you keep sweeping it back and then pick up the inside of your foot. Very nice. Now squeeze your knees and thighs together. Imagine someone's holding your hand from the ceiling above. You want to try and stay as long and lifted as you can, like a little bit of the L shape underneath your chin. And then staying as lifted as you can, take your left thigh back. Breathe into it. Extend your right arm. Reach through your fingertips. And then inhale, lift up. And just take your hips and just make little circles with them. Walk to the top of your mat. Inhale, stretch your arms up high. Exhale, bow down. Inhale, halfway lift. Walk or float. Exhale, sweet chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your right leg up to the sky. With your exhale, bend your knee. Let your hips spin open. Now, yogi's choice. You either stay here or you follow your right foot and you flip your dog. In this variation, you're bending both of your knees and you want your feet hip distance apart. So we're not doing wild thing. Yeah, you're bending both your knees. And now lift up with your hips by pushing your feet down and then stretch the front of the room with your right hand. Breathe into it. Maybe drop your hand down towards the floor, taking your early back bend. It's not that early. And then inhale and flip back over. Downward facing dog. Stretch your right leg up into the sky. And with your exhale, step your foot forward. And this time, you're going to toe heel your right foot out to the right. Let your toes spin out about 45 degrees and bring your back knee down to the ground. Of course, if you want to stay lifted in your back leg for a little bit more toning, you can. Maybe you stay here with your hands extended, or maybe you come down to your elbows. Wherever you are, see if you can drop your head down. You can do a little wiggle in your hips to see if you can release your right hip more. How does that feel? And then drop your left knee down to the ground. Now, here you are. You've got your elbows maybe on the ground. You're going to let your foot roll open, and you're just going to leave your left elbow onto the ground and see if you can reach back and come into twisted monkey and hold on to your left foot. I know it's kind of cool. It's called twisted monkey, isn't it? Let your shoulders reach back. Try to breathe through your nose. You could use your sweater, but you don't need to. And then release your left foot and toe heel your right toes all the way over to your left wrist or your left elbow. And come into sleeping pigeon. So if your right buttocks is way off the ground, one of the nice things you can do is you're going to bend your left knee and let your knee go, your back knee, bend it that way and let your hip open, and you notice you can come more into your right hip. Does that feel a little better? So I'm going to read a little poem from Nikita Gill. It's called Chaos. Edward Lawrence, the mathematician, father of chaos theory, defines chaos as when the present determines the future, but the approximate present does not approximately determine the future, which loosely translates to, no one knows how the consequence of our actions will truly play out, and try as we might, we will never be the masters of our destiny. And Chaos, who has been listening, as she always does, to each of her creations, laughs because what else does the ancient being who created creation do when a small, impatient, primitive species that insists on quantifying everything tries to quantify the unfathomable by their small terms. And as she laughs, the cosmos ripples and whole galaxies fall apart. I want to start to notice that creation is happening all day long. Every new thought you have is a creation. Now slide your elbows in, lift up your chest, and before we leave this wonderful little shape, we're going to do one more variation. So kick your foot up and maybe hold onto your foot, your ankle, with both hands and see if you can enjoy this assisted, what would you go, pigeon back bend. Hips squaring forward, chest lifting up. And then bring your hands back down. Exhale, three-legged dog, right leg stretches up into the air, and with your exhale, bring your right foot down. Inhale, stretch your left leg long. Exhale, step your foot all the way forward. No, you're going to bend your knee. Didn't you bend your knee first? Yes, bend your knee and flip your dog. Thanks, Lilith. Sorry, Lilith. Whoo, thank goodness you're here. Else it'd just be chaos all day long. Step your feet in a little bit to feel a little bit more power. Push down with your feet, lift your hips up, reach to the front of the room, maybe reach your hand down to the yoga mat. Beautiful. Now, flip back over to three-legged dog. Your left leg stretches up into the sky, and then step your left foot all the way forward to your left thumb. Let your back knee come down to the ground. Toe heel your feet out, so you move your left foot a little bit out to the left, and come down onto your elbows. Maybe it's there for you, maybe it's not. If it's not, if you don't come down to your elbows, you're still stretching. We want to meet at this edge between what we can do and what we can't do. A little bit, you can imagine it between, this making and remaking constantly. Organization and chaos, back and forth. It's the act of creation. And then lift up onto your elbows, lift your chest, let your inner foot kind of peel off the ground. Your knee can fall out to the left, and reach back with your left hand and see if you can hold on to your right ankle coming into twisted monkey. So you grab onto your foot if you can, and then you lean back just a little bit like twisted lizard. So you kind of lean into your back space here. Feel your heart opening, expanding. And then gently release your foot and toe heel your left foot to your right wrist, coming into sleeping pigeon. So if your left buttocks is way up in the sky, you can actually bend your right knee and let your hip open and then come forward over your left. Gorgeous. Just like our body, we can imagine everything being made and remade, falling apart and made again and again, and constantly in motion. And it happens so quickly, we think things are solid. We think things are always going to be that way, though a little less so after 2020. And then with your inhale, lift up your chest. And for the lovely finish, the little back bending finish, bend your right knee and grab onto your right foot with one or two hands, and eventually feel like your chest's going to open forward as you grab your foot. And one side might not be like the other side. But remember, I can see you. And then release your foot. Stretch your legs out in front of you. Sweep your right leg forward. You're like, how do I do that? And then just dance your way down into your Shavasana. Let gravity hold you. If your lower back hurts, you can have your knees bent and slide out your feet so they're as wide as your yoga mat. And let your knees fall back together. It should really feel supported. With your next inhale, invite your breath to the edges of your body. Maybe wiggle your fingers and your toes and your face and your nose. Inhale, stretch your arms long, get stretched, and with your exhale, curl into a ball and roll onto your right hand side, hugging your knees to your chest. Feel the vibrancy and vitality of your cosmic beingness, and then help yourself up into a seated position. Allow your hands to meet at heart center. Feel the ground below you to lift up tall. Let your heart lift, your elbows drop. You did a great job. Let's close our class with one Om. So empty your breath. Take a deep inhale. Bring your prayer hands to your third eye. Invite the divine light. And as we bow forward together, we say, Namaste. and so much love. Make some noise. Woo! Thank you. Thank you so much for participating. Thank you so much for being here. Go out there and be awesome.